Good morning. Guys, that was terrible. We're going to try that again. Good morning. Now that's more royal. That is more royal. My name is Bob Kendrick. I'm the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and I'm tremendously honored to be here for this historic occasion. And at this point in time, I want to introduce the prime participants in this morning's historic announcement. So if you would join me in welcoming the Honorable Governor Mike Kehoe. The leader of the great city of Kansas City, Missouri, the Honorable Quentin Lucas. The executive chairman of Hallmark Cards, Mr. Don Hall. And of course, Kansas City Royals chairman and CEO, Mr. John Sherman. It goes without saying that this is a tremendously important day for all of us here in Kansas City and the great state of Missouri. It is not lost on me as a steward of the story of the Negro Leagues how important the heritage of baseball is in this town, the winning legacy of baseball in this town. And of course, it began in great part with the legendary Kansas City Monarchs. And of course, it has continued for all of these years with our great Kansas City Royals. To have the opportunity to see baseball return to its roots, where so much history was made, back in the urban core, is extremely exciting to all of us who are involved with this project. And I hope for all of you who will enjoy a new stadium for years and years and years to come. I remember hearing my friend Buck O'Neill say that when he joined the Kansas City Monarchs in 1938, he said, "I knew I was coming to the heart of America. He never knew I was coming to the center of the universe." And today, Kansas City baseball is back at the center of the universe. And so with no further ado, it is my pleasure again to introduce the chairman and CEO of the Kansas City Royals, a baseball man and a baseball friend, Mr. John Sherman.
Thank you, Bob. But Don and I are honorable as well, by the way. Apparently you need the title, but anyway, thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. I've got some remarks and want to turn it over to the rest of these gentlemen. But I look out in front of me here today, and there's just some people that I can't help but talk about, because we would not be here without a number of people in the audience. But a couple of them are sitting right in front of me here. Former Mayor Sly James and former Mayor Kay Barnes. And we have a city that has a lot of momentum. We're going to talk about something today that I think will help us continue that momentum. But I would just talk for a minute about Mayor Barnes. She, first of all, has been very encouraging to me, and so has Sly. But Kay has written me several kind of handwritten letters. These aren't emails. This is snail mail. This is old school, but very encouraging to me, telling me to do things like think big, and if you think big, think bigger. And I think that comes from experience. It reminds me of the Harry Truman quote, "Make no little plans," right? and she was very encouraging to me. And if you think about, I'm looking behind me downtown, and what she did to transform downtown, we would not be here having this conversation today had she not had the courage to lead that process. So Kay, thank you. Thank you for that. And she reminded me that she had a vision. I think you called it River, what'd you call it? River Crown Plaza, right? And so, you got the river, you got downtown, we got the crossroads. We're here in the heart of it at Crown Center. You got Midtown and you got the plaza. I can go to Brookside and Waldo, where my neighborhood is, but I think this corridor, there's lots of places important in this town, including, Leawood and North Kansas City and Clay County, but this is the core of it, and we're standing right in the middle of it. And what we want to talk about today, from our perspective, is to make it stronger. So, Kay, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for making this possible today. And I would say the same about Sly James. The airport that we have today is pretty damned important, right? And I'm looking right behind you at Kathy Nelson. There's no World Cup either. If we don't, and you think about this city fights above its weight class all the time, philanthropically and business and entrepreneurship. But you think about the audacity to think that you could have the World Cup as one of the smallest markets. We are the smallest markets so anyway, there's lots of people in this room. If I went around and looked at everybody, we'd be here all day. But I wanted to spend a minute about our two former mayors, and thank you again. Today is a day that by any definition is one that is worth the wait. It's been said that patience is the calm acceptance that things can happen in a different order than what you had in mind. It'd be real easy for me today to say this is how we drew it up. But they're never how you draw it up, right? There's lots of ways to say it. There's no straight line between point A and point B. But as I stand out here and look at all of you, there's many others that have played an important role in this journey. And talking about the inspiring view behind me again, patience has given us an outcome that we could never have imagined. There's no script for what we're sharing with you today, no playbook, no blueprint, no roadmap. Today is a narrative of community, of trust, of courage and vision, and of passion for doing something special for the city we love. So, as we share the attributes of a deal that will change our city and our core for generations, allow me to share some things that I want you to know at the start. First, the Kansas City Royals are staying in the state of Missouri. Congratulations, Governor. Congratulations, Governor, but also thank you. And we're staying in the city of Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, City Council. And thank you, Parks Board. Second, we're bringing baseball downtown. We're bringing a second crown downtown, by the way. We will build a project that will be the largest public-private partnership in Kansas City history, with a total investment that will exceed $3 billion just in phase one. Third, we're announcing the specific selection of a site for the Royals' new home, and it will be right here in Crown Center. I'm going to let Don tell you exactly where later, but it will be right here in Crown Center, with the plan of bringing Washington Square Park into our expanded mixed-use ballpark district. Fourth, we're announcing the formation of an innovative, historic partnership with Don Hall and the Hallmark organization that merges a value system and a vision for something very special for our city. Together, we will rethink, reimagine, redefine, and redevelop Crown Center in an 85-acre plus setting here that will instantly become the largest sports anchored downtown development of its kind. And as Don has said, it will advance the purpose of the Crown Center neighborhood, a place where people gather, connect, celebrate milestones, and create lifelong memories. And fifth, thanks to our public-private partnership with the state of Missouri and the city of Kansas City, we will build a $1.9 billion ballpark that will combine with a mixed-use development for a total of $3 billion plus investment in the heart of our city in phase one, with 2/3 of that investment coming from the Royals and private partners and 1/3 from our public partners. We're very excited to partner with Don Hall and the Hallmark organization. Don and I have worked together on issues important to this city for decades. His family's civic and philanthropic leadership is legendary. Kansas City is fortunate to have families like the Halls committed to our long-term success and sustainability. They have been giving back to this city for many decades in education, the arts, healthcare, social services, and they've done it throughout the region. Don, thank you. Your leadership is incredible. One of the most generous and prominent families in the history of our city. I'm also honored to partner with Don himself, who is the embodiment of integrity and selfless humility. Now, I'm told that came from Adele, but I don't know that for sure. You know, this town, we talked about punching above our weight class, but we have many great role models in this town. And I think of Joyce Hall, I think of Ewing Kauffman, you know, I think of people like Henry Block, and I hesitate to start naming any of them because there are so many. But, you know, and the ones that I've gotten to know, they didn't start a business. I mean, the entrepreneurial story of your grandfather, and I'll let Don tell it, but it's really incredible. And same with Mr. Kauffman. But they didn't start these businesses to make money, a bunch of money. They started the businesses to take care of their family, right, and pay some bills. And their success exceeded their wildest dreams, and then they all gave massively back to this community. And so I think it's something very special about Kansas City, and I'm proud again to partner with your family and others in this room. You know, Ewing Kauffman, I saw Esther George. I spent 10 years on the board of the Kauffman Foundation. She actually succeeded me as chair, so I spent a lot of time with Henry Block, not so much Mr. Kauffman, but I certainly studied his life and his legacy. We take his legacy, what he did for the Royals, very, very seriously. This is a partnership between two treasured Kansas City institutions, Hallmark Cards and the Kansas City Royals. We are committed to creating a vision which honors our history, the rich past of both our organizations, while reinvigorating and reimagining what our future can be together. And together, we look forward to breaking ground right here somewhere in 2027. We have a shared vision for lifting up our community in a dynamic, energized urban setting that will elevate our city, not just 81 days a year, but 365 days a year. When we acquired the Royals in 2019, and we did not predict a global pandemic, by the way, in our business plan. But when we acquired the Royals in 2019, we knew that an early priority would be to stabilize our future in Kansas City, to fulfill Ewing Kauffman's promise that the Royals would be Kansas City's forever. After Charlie Finley moved the A's to Oakland after the 1967 season, Major League Baseball teamed up with Mr. Kauffman to bring baseball back to Kansas City, only missing one season. But that was just the beginning. What he did to keep the team here And the Hall family and the community found it was a unique structure. He actually donated the team to the community because he couldn't find a local buyer. What he did to keep us here was extraordinary. We all owe him a debt of gratitude for that. I take that responsibility to him very seriously. There are many great ballpark neighborhoods in Major League Baseball. Recently, the Battery has become the gold standard, and for good reason. But this is a bigger project with more land in downtown and in the heart of the city. We're bringing a modern, state-of-the-art ballpark experience to our fans, closer to public transportation, like the streetcar, and where more people work and live, which will lower the barrier of accessibility for our fans. There are so many people to thank. I think, and I'll thank you both again, Governor Kehoe and Mayor Lucas. Again, thanks for your commitment to this, and we would not be here without you. Mario, appreciate your focus on this, your attention to detail, really doing, kind of the tough work that it takes to make sure that you can model up and justify a project like this. So thank you for your focus on that on our behalf. I want to thank the City Council. I want to thank you for your support, for your work, and also let you know that if there's, we want to communicate, if there's anything we can do to be more effective in helping you do your jobs, we want to be the conduit for you as you represent the folks in your districts. Brooks Sherman, where's Brooks? I really can't say enough. Look, Brooks he has carried the water for this. These are very, very complicated processes. And, this has been, and he has dealt with 2 states, a couple of different entities. We have landed in the right place, but there are a lot of moving parts on this, and he has been a workhorse. Brooks, thank you for all the work that you've done. I know we have work to do, but we also wouldn't be here without your efforts on our behalf. The civic leadership community, I'm not going to say all the names, but, Joe, Tim, David, Kathy, Floyd, George, thank you for your support. Labor, I'm looking straight ahead at Bridget Williams. Not Brenda, but Bridget. I called her Brenda one time, and I've never lived it. Actually, it was actually on live television. No, she's made it. I don't know if Duke or Ralph are here today, but we thank them for the work. And then Stacy Payne. Stacy has been an important part of this process. A lot of due diligence. We had lawyers and advisors, and Stacy knows everything about this place that we're standing in the middle of. So Stacy, thank you for all that you've done to make sure that this deal came together as it did. We actually have some advisors in the room. BDT MSD acted as an advisor in a kind of a unique way for the partnership, even though it hadn't been formed. We had separate lawyers, which obviously, advocating for each of us, but we actually had BDT MSD as an advisor on this transaction for both entities. And Byron Trott's the chairman. He was involved in this. Zach Pack is part of their organization. He's actually from Kansas City. He's here today with his parents, who Marty and I are actually co-chairing an event for the Truman Library tomorrow, so maybe that's why you're in town. But anyway, Zach, thank you. And Sabrina Gleiser is with their real estate group. She was a really integral part of making sure that we had the credibility on both sides of that. So I know there's more people to thank, but I appreciate everybody in the room. And Steve, I love the hat and the bow tie, by the way. That's awesome. It's hard not to see you back there. Today is a day and by the way, this is the first day I've seen JJ smile in about a week. This is more about baseball, but baseball is important too. Today is a day that by any definition was an impossible dream. It's also testament to happen when leaders, both public and private, come together with a whatever it takes approach to doing something special, something historic, and something that will change our city forever. This is what great cities do. Finally, it bears repeating. The Royals are staying in Missouri, fulfilling Ewing Kauffman's pledge that the Royals are Kansas City's team. What we will create together, both a stadium and a mixed-use development, will become a world-class ballpark district that will rival any sports development that exists in Major League Baseball, and it will be at least two-thirds privately funded. Today, we open up a new chapter in the history of the Kansas City Royals in a reimagined Crown Center that will be home to the best and most expansive ballpark district in any downtown in America. And Don, we're deeply honored to bring our crown back home to the very place where it was created, here at Hallmark. Destiny appears to have its eyes on us. This is exactly, I joked about this is how we drew it up. It's not how we drew it up, but this is exactly where we want it to land in our search for a generational home for the Kansas City Royals. Thank you all. I can't wait to get to work on this. There's lots of work, and we'll get on with the program. I think I've already probably said enough nice things about Don Hall, but I would say one more thing, and that is it's humbling to have earned his confidence and trust on something like this. This is a legacy family asset that I'm just telling you. Zach and Sabrina can speak to this. This is a rare situation where someone with this type of asset that was so important to his family, that did so much for the city, that you rethought it, and now we're going to bring baseball to the neighborhood and do something great together. For that, I thank you for your confidence and trust. I don't take it for granted, and look forward to doing something great together. So, thank you.
Wow, this is an extraordinary day. You went off road a little bit, and I've got some things I want to say, but I couldn't help but sit there and see you stand up here in front of the community with Liberty Memorial over your shoulder, Union Station over mine, and be reminded about the historical significance of today. This is one of those legacy moments, and I think we're all so fortunate to be sharing it together. I wasn't there at the time of the dedication of the Liberty Memorial, but we've all seen pictures of that day. I think the entire city was out on the lawn. A president came and dedicated it. That was a big moment for Kansas City coming together. We're going to be gathered again in a couple of weeks with the World Cup and on a world stage because of this place. So this is special ground here. You look over at Union Station, you think of its historic significance. The people that came and went to the World War II came back through that station. You think about the significance of the incredible Super Bowl wins that we've had with the Chiefs on that place, things that will always be etched into our collective memories. Or the blue that we saw outside of Union Station when the Royals won the World Series. So what John is outlining today is one of those really important moments. It's a personal moment for me and my brother Dave, because my grandfather jumped off the train 115 years ago to make Kansas City his home and place to work. So this city is intertwined with really significant moments, and as we savor this one, I think it's important to be reminded that the enduring success stories of Kansas City, there's a powerful image that emerges. Kansas City has had leaders that have looked to the city as being more than a place to do business. They've invested their hearts, their resources, and their long-term vision. My grandfather, J.C. Hall, and John Sherman are two such leaders, separated by generations and industries, yet united by a shared belief in Kansas City's promise. Today, those visions come together. Standing at this spot, I cannot help reflect on the fact that my grandfather hopped off that train when he was 18 years old to build a business here, only because he had heard people talk about the Kansas City spirit. That's what drove him to Kansas City. He got caught up in that spirit. It fueled his business, creating jobs, nurturing creative talent, and building a company that would grow alongside the city itself. He believed that when you invest in people and place, the return is measured by what you do to make the Kansas City spirit more vibrant for everyone in the community. That same belief is demonstrated by John Sherman's leadership today. His decision to anchor the Kansas City Royals in downtown isn't just about baseball. It's an expression of the Kansas City spirit. It's about economic vitality, creating shared experiences that bring people together. And that very vision of bringing people together to work, celebrate, and connect is what inspired my grandfather and my father, Don Hall, to build Crown Center. When the A's left Kansas City in 1967, downtown was in decline. This entire area where we are standing right now was blighted. Crown Center was conceived out of a desire to make downtown more vibrant. About the same time that the Royals came to Kansas City in 1973, Hallmark was in the early stages of building Crown Center. So now, after almost 60 years of committed focus to this district, Crown Center has become a place for innovative retail, businesses, and a cultural center. It's home to the Irish Festival, October Festival, and our new Hallmark Christmas experience. It offers an expansive square with fountains, ice skating, museum-quality art, green space, and wonderful architecture. Crown Center is also surrounded by some of the most important Kansas City institutions, like Union Station, like Liberty Memorial, like the Federal Reserve, Children's Mercy Hospital, University Health, and Ronald McDonald House. Those are our neighbors. My grandfather always believed a great city depends on having great transportation. Crown Center is centered between I-35, I-670, and Highway 71. It's adjacent to the railroads, to the streetcar, and currently has more than 9,000 parking places just within our 85-acre Crown Center space. The Royal Stadium will take advantage of all this existing infrastructure. John spent the last several years trying to find the best home for baseball. John could have explored other markets. Most owners do. But John never lost sight of what mattered most to him: preserving baseball in Kansas City, strengthening the future of our city, and using the game to bring people together and make memories for generations to come. This new Royal Stadium will be fully integrated into the surrounding community, building on the original vision of Crown Center as a gathering place for all Kansas Cityans. This is exactly where baseball stadiums belong, at the center of our community where everyone can access it. Bringing the Royals downtown requires real commitment, certainly by the city and the state, but by all of us. When John and I talked about the idea of bringing the Royals to Crown Center, I asked him where in this entire district of Washington Square Park and Crown Center would be the ideal place for baseball, and how would it best enhance the entire district and add to our vision of making downtown a better place for Kansas City. After looking at all the options, it was clear that locating it where the Hallmark headquarters is today was the best location. So with John's announcement today, Hallmark is also announcing that our headquarters will be moving to make room for the new stadium. Our buildings have been home to generations of Hallmarkers and some of our most memorable corporate moments since we located there in 1956. While these buildings have served us very well, we are very excited about moving to a newer building that will be even better suited for our work today and into the future. It will be wonderful for our new global headquarters to remain within Crown Center and be part of this vibrant district that we will grow with together. Of course, welcoming a stadium into the neighborhood will bring about change. The Royals and Crown Center will partner together, as John mentioned, to develop a master plan for the entire district. With lots of consultation from our neighbors and building on the great things that are here now, we intend to make it even better in the future. There's an interesting history that the Royals and Hallmark share. John alluded to it. When the Royals came to Kansas City, they adopted the crown that has become one of Major League's most enduring and unmistakably Kansas City icons. That crown was designed by a Hallmark artist. When the new Royal Stadium opens here at Crown Center, the crown will return to the very neighborhood that it was created. Today's announcement reflects the alignment of history, heritage, and vision. It speaks to John's unwavering commitment to keeping baseball in Kansas City, Hallmark's dedication to strengthening the community we love, and the collaborative leadership of the Royals, Hallmark, and local government. Kansas City has always been a place where relationships matter, where people show up for one another, and where pride and community runs deep. My grandfather recognized that. John Sherman recognizes it. Their commitments reflect a shared understanding that when you believe in Kansas City believes back. Their stories remind us that Kansas City's evolution has always been driven by leaders willing to stay, invest, and grow. That's the foundation on which the people of Kansas City will build the next chapter. Today will be remembered for what the Kansas City spirit is, and how John Sherman's decision to bring baseball downtown will benefit Kansas City's future. Thanks, John.
You want to show them some pictures, John? You want to come down here and show? All right, come on. You know, I'll get us started here, and just for a few minutes here. Well, Don, I think the bottom line here is that, you know, we're showing up in your neighborhood, but you've invited us to your neighborhood. So let's, if you wouldn't mind, maybe telling us a little bit about the neighborhood, and then I'll certainly talk about the ballpark. If that.
Sure. This is the neighborhood. This is the neighborhood. From here, it stretches from 27th Street all the way down to Pershing Road. It's banded by, I'm walking right in front of you, and I'm sorry, right in front, banded by Gillum and Main Street. So it represents 85 acres. And in that area, and I mentioned earlier, our neighbors, Liberty Memorial, we've got Washington Square Park right here. Union Station is there. You know, the Hospital Hill and the wonderful attributes there, but it's part of the community, and we have always tried to be part of the community.
Yeah, I would just say from a baseball and a sport, this is an iconic site. I mean, you know, Don talked about in the shadow of Union Station and the Liberty Memorial, really in the heart of our city with the streetcar, and this is an 85-acre site. You know, our plan is to make Washington Square Park a part of an expanded district. There could be some real estate south of Pershing as well, but this would be a minimum 85 acres, which would be, you know, I think the largest sports-anchored development in downtown, and certainly in Major League Baseball. And it would be our objective to bring energy and vibrancy to the neighborhood. Not just the 81 days a year, but the 365 days a year. Energy, vibrance, and economic activity. You know, Don alluded to a master plan that we'll work on soon here, but there's just a lot of opportunity here. You want to go to the next? You want to go to the next slide? Next slide. Is that okay? This is just another look that, you know, you can see the streetcar. This outer circle is really what is a 10-minute walk, I think, from the center of Crown Center, Brooks, and you can see Highway 71, 670, I-35 over here. A lot of good egress and ingress. And, interestingly, it's only a mile from T-Mobile to the ballpark, which is, this is creating a lot of density, really positive density in the core of our city. Very, very excited about it. Anything you'd add to that, Brooks? Okay. Well, Brooks has got to execute on this. So,
I mentioned earlier the infrastructure, and there's some great infrastructure. The streetcar goes right here by it. There are 9,000 parking places just here on the 85 acres, not including some that is in the area. What you can't see from this drawing, but is representative of the conversations that John and I have been having and the rendering here, is that the ballpark will feel like it's part of the community. On opening day, it will feel like this entire community is about baseball, but it's baseball's incorporated into the neighborhood. If you're standing here on this bluff and you don't realize that there's a 90-foot grade change in less than a half a block there, we've disguised it well with buildings today, but we're going to use that 90-foot grade to our advantage. The ballpark is going to be in below that grade so that if you're walking along Gillum Road, the ballpark's only 30 feet above grade. It's not one of those imposing structures that you see in other downtown areas, which kind of says don't come in unless it's game day. This will feel like come in every day because this is part of our walk. That will be something I think will be incredible. The church steeple that is here will be higher than the ballpark, so it will feel very pedestrian. And people on this side of Crown Center will feel like they are part of, that baseball's part of their everyday lives. So it's not just going to be the 85 days that there's a game that this is activated. It will be the 364 days that John talked about that are critically important for our community.
yeah, and baseball will bring more people to the site, but Hallmark does the Hallmark Christmas program that's very, very active. The Hallmark media, and we talked about Irish Fest and Boulevardia. There's a few. Kevin O'Neill got a big smile on his face. So he's just glad we can still have Irish Fest over here. But anyway, I think that's an interest. This is, if anybody knows baseball parks, this is kind of like Dodger Stadium, in that when you come into the ballpark behind home plate, you'll be on the upper level, and the views are just extraordinary. So we really look forward to. Got a lot of work to do, and we'll be talking more about it. But very excited about. Next slide, please. Well, there's a lot of things we like here, and that our fans like, right? The crown is very important to our fans. A water feature like fountains is, Governor, I think we're playing the Cardinals that day, and I think we're winning. We must be winning. The governor, when I told the governor one time we're playing the Cardinals today, I know you're from the other side of the state originally, he says, one thing I know when the Royals play the Cardinals, a Missouri baseball team's going to win today. George Brett can tell you how to beat the Cardinals. So. Anyway, I think, there's a lot. This is conceptual. There's a lot of work to do. But we're trying to incorporate the things that we like, that our fans like. And those views, those will be one of a kind, I think, in baseball. They're really stunning. Anything else, Don, that you'd add?
Yeah, I think just the feel will be very inviting. You see that you get a chance to see the green grass if you're standing on the square. What's more inviting than seeing the green in December and looking forward to the baseball season starting? So this will feel like it's really part of the community. John's vision of baseball being an important part of the community. And you'll see the activity on the street. There's a lot of street activity, vibrancy, which will make this a very vibrant part of the community.
Yeah, Populous is in the room, so this is by no means, but I think we're trying to, we got rooftop activity on top of those are the team offices, and it looks like we got rooftop integrated. And you think about the great neighborhood ballparks where you can watch the game in other places around. So as this develops, I think it'll create a lot of great opportunity.
John, the fireworks, you didn't explain those. You were winning, right? You won the game. You won the game. It's already
Against the
done.
Cardinals. Thank you. Well, I want to turn it over to one of the honorables. Just kidding. But no, let me just say something about Governor Kehoe. Early in his first term, called a special session and called everybody back. And I'm thinking everybody doesn't want to come back for those special sessions. It's kind of what I'm thinking. But he was competing with some things going on across the state line, and that was really the birth of the Show Me Sports Investment Act that will be teaming up with the city of Kansas City, Missouri. So without further ado, please welcome Governor Mike Kehoe.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sherman. I don't know why I'm always getting gigged on the Cardinals relationship.
Well, your wife's a Cubs fan.
My wife's a Cubs fan. I'm sorry to tell you that, especially with the media here, so take that part out. But this is not in my notes, but I have to say that Brooks and Mr. Sherman and I were in a meeting one day, and he was gigging me about my Cardinals relationship, and I, wear the hat and the whole thing. And I said, well, Mr. Sherman, let me just guarantee you, there's 2 Cardinal fans in this 3-person meeting. He goes, oh, no, there's not. There's just 3 of us here. I said, Brooks is from Sikeston, Missouri. He grew up a Cardinals fan. I had to rat Brooks out right in that meeting. Brooks, thank you. You mentioned earlier, I told Mr. Sherman he's been a real gentleman to deal with, as John has and the other ownership group. It's a great day for the state of Missouri and for Kansas City, right? Now, not many teams would start off an event like this by just 12 hours earlier having Michael Garcia steal home plate. Right, Bob Kendrick? That was a heck of a play. So that was a good way to get things started, and good luck. It's great to see my friend Bob Kendrick. I tell everybody, it's one of the diamonds in all of America right here in Kansas City, and I'm grateful for his leadership and what he's done to bring the museum to a new level. So thank you, Bob, for doing that. We're grateful for the partnership with the Royals and the Hall family. Mr. Hall's always been very kind to me in various endeavors that we've had, and it is incredibly cool to see that this iconic location and campus is now going to be a part of this history. First, a shout out, and I'll explain a little bit more in just a minute. I brought my friend Speaker John Patterson with me, and I want you to know a few things about Speaker Patterson and the General Assembly, and as Mr. Sherman mentioned about the special session. You don't get things moved forward without a speaker. Your speaker comes from Kansas City. Your speaker co-sponsored the legislation that helped Kathy Nelson get the World Cup here. Your speaker is the one who said, let's get the Show Me Sports Act passed, and let's talk to these teams and make sure these businesses that we call economic development stay where they belong here in Missouri. And I can't thank Speaker John Patterson enough for his leadership. So thank you, Speaker. Of course, we're grateful to the entire Royals organization led by Mr. Sherman and Brooks and the entire ownership group. But I know the Royals leadership and staff have been very involved in multiple locations, multiple states, multiple complex decisions, and we're grateful for that. Mayor Lucas, thank you for you and your team in taking the leadership role in this. Mayor Lucas and Phil and I met multiple times trying to figure out what do we do to make sure that we keep these businesses here. Mayor Lucas quickly introduced me to Mario, who is he's his own crown in the center of the plaza there, Mario. But I had somebody earlier say, Quentin doesn't like this that you're doing and that. I said, these are relationships. I've been married for 36 years to a Cub fan, for God's sakes. And so we can figure things out. And there's certainly things that the mayor and I won't agree on, and it's just going to be the way life is. But on the things that we do agree on, we agree to work together on to make them happen. And so, Quentin, I really am grateful for your leadership. And the Honorable Mr. Sherman and I appreciate what you've done. And now to the Honorable Don Hall, thank you for your eloquent remarks. Your family history, I tell people about it all the time. It's unbelievable. And even though my wife might like some other baseball team, which will now remain nameless, she's the biggest fan of the Hallmark movies. So there you go. It's perfect to be here with all of them. We've got our DED team here, led by Michelle Hadaway and Mark Stombaugh. They worked very hard with the ownership group to try to make sure the right mix came together. Because if I've said all along, anytime I've been on any kind of radio show or press or anything, these two opportunities that we had in front of us with these two sports teams are no different than any other business. We got to make sure it's a good return on investment for Missourians, for the Kansas City family, and for, what we're going to put together as a package, just like we would a business who said that I would like to move here or move out or do whatever we wanted to do. We have economic development tools that we use to be competitive. And our DED team certainly knows how to collaborate with industries, showcase the kind of creative momentum that continues to move the state forward. We're proud to see organizations with deep Missouri roots working together to create new opportunities here and strengthen our economy and reinforce the pride so many feel for communities that they call home right here. Today's announcement is years of work by multiple folks that I just recognized, but it's also possible because of the work of the Missouri General Assembly, as we talked earlier. Last year, the Missouri General Assembly came together, House and Senate, 9 nonpartisans passed the Show Me Sports Investment Act. And we think that was an economic development tool that we would use for any team that's willing to make this type of investment, this type of facility to be built. And we think that it's a great investment for Missouri's taxpayers because this does not affect any existing programs. There's people that say, well, if you do this for them, then it's just like, as I explained earlier, it's like any other economic development tool. If the Royals were not here, we'd have zero. And so these tools are designed about keeping those revenue streams and those income flows here. And that makes it a net positive for the state and for the investment. And again, we're grateful for the legislature in both House and Senate and Speaker Patterson and his leadership on this and many other Kansas City issues. Kathy, you just got a huge award, Kathy. You should be telling everybody about the award she just got. Kathy Nelson came to me when she was filling out this 700-page application for World Cup, or it was 800 pages. It was insane. And I was in the Lieutenant Governor's office at the time, but we worked with tourism a lot. We worked with the arts a lot, Mr. Hall. That's how you and I met. And she said, we have this little thing. We got to pass a piece of legislation. I don't know how that all works, but we just got to waive sales tax on the tickets. And I'm like, well, that works very tough, and it's not easy. And so two people I would give credit, J.J. Rizzo in the Senate, Kansas City and Independence, and John Patterson stepped up to the plate in a bipartisan House and Senate manner to get that passed. And Kathy, I would think that was one of the biggest things that helped you land the World Cup. So people can work together when they have differences. Our two chambers can work together, and we're excited to have the World Cup here coming. I was super happy that Mr. Sherman recognized Bridget Williams. I have a different nickname for her, but I won't say it with all the media here, okay? It's great. Yeah, okay, it's all right, it's Beyonce. So she gave me permission, and that's it. Mr. Hall, I'm grateful you pointed out the cathedral or the steeple on top of the church, because as much trouble as I get from my friend Mr. Sherman and my friend the mayor, my daughter's getting married at that church. And so, there's a Kansas City connection for the Kehoe family. We have 3 weddings in 16 months. That's a different story. Yeah, it's not good. This world-class stadium will embody the Royals, an enduring part of our identity, bringing together and showcasing the strength, pride, and spirit of our state on truly a national stage. Their presence downtown will drive meaningful economic activity from job creation and tourism to supporting small businesses, which benefits not just the Kansas City region, but it has communities across the state. The ripple effect from this facility will truly be far-reaching into rural Missouri and other parts of the state for the Royals fans and for the people who want to come here as part of the entertainment. Mr. Sherman said to me, every time I talk to him, I want a Battery Park type experience. And I went and saw Battery Park in Atlanta. And this is going to exceed that. And it's all credit to you and your vision. And Mayor Barnes, thanks for telling him to think bigger, because he thought a lot bigger. And it really worked out well. We are really proud to support the efforts of Missourians and make sure that this investment represents what we think is a good fiduciary responsibility from the legislature and truly keeps a legacy organization here in Missouri, along with another legacy organization who we just heard's grandfather came down on a train 115 years ago and decided to stay here. That's what makes Kansas City a great city. That's what's going to catch the world as we go into the World Cup with the exposure we give the city, and that will be the gateway into this new complex for the rest of the world to see what great things are happening in Kansas City. We are super proud to be a small part of this, and we are thankful that we had all the investment we did from all the other partners, including the city of Kansas City. So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks again to the Royals and the ownership group and all the partners that put this together. Again, this is a great day for Missouri, and it's an awesome day for Kansas City. I'd like to introduce my friend Quentin Lucas. Not on every issue, we're not friends, Quentin, but on most issues. I mean, I serve with Joe Lee Justice. If I can get along with Joe Lee, right, Charlie? Yeah. 2 farmer senators that represented Kansas City great, so thank you for them being here as well. Would you please help me welcome a partner in this activity? And this project would not have happened without Mayor Lucas staying very steady after the prize here, making sure he got it across the finish line. Please help me welcome Mayor Quentin Lucas.
Well, thank you, Governor. It is always an honor to be with you. I always invite you to agree with me on everything if you want. So that's always an offer. You know, I have prepared remarks. I want to just start with this, though, and I think Governor Kehoe hit the nail on the head. This day is the sort of thing where we would have exceptional announcements for both things that are being discussed today. Retaining Hallmark and downtown Kansas City, building new headquarters, is a huge deal, not just for your workers, but for Kansas City, the state of Missouri, and our country. Congratulations to you, and thank you for staying with us. And then, of course, keeping the Kansas City Royals. It is business retention. I think it is business growth for the future of Kansas City, and we're proud to have you all with us. So this councilman was referenced before, but Kevin O'Neill likes to tell us old-timer stories sometimes. So I wasn't around in Kansas City in the 1960s, but the 1960s, the late 1960s, were a particularly momentous time in our city and in our region. And in the late 1960s, J.C. Hall, who has been mentioned, Donald Hall, and others, decided that they wanted to build what would be a revolutionary, one of the greatest mixed-use developments to be built in our country in the 20th century. They saw a downtown where businesses were fleeing, they saw challenges and concerns, and they knew they could do better. Also in the late 1960s, after losing a professional baseball franchise, people from Missouri, our Senator Stuart Symington, leadership in Kansas City, and others worked with Major League Baseball to say we need an expansion team. Ewing Kauffman stepped up. In 1969, we had the Kansas City Royals start play at Municipal Stadium. All of those folks were visionaries. In the early 1970s, Kansas City would see a Crown Center set of offices open. More things came along. It has always been an evolving story of what Crown Center is. And I looked at their website today, and they say we mean many things to many people. And that stays just as true today. We opened Kauffman Stadium, Royals Stadium, in 1973. And through it all, the visionaries saw that it was important for us to make a big difference for the future of Kansas City. I'm proud to stand here today with visionaries of our current moment. The new Royals Stadium and Baseball District at Crown Center will bring 20,000 jobs in the construction trades, providing work in the accessible core of our city, on transit lines, with proximity to every corner of our region and every demographic, to our electricians, our iron workers, carpenters, laborers, and more. The stadium, which Brooks tells me provides 1,000 jobs each game day, perhaps even more, will continue to employ union service workers And importantly, in connection with this job, if you care about our workers, you care about their jobs staying right here in Kansas City, Missouri. And that is what we've been able to guarantee today. And on jobs, bringing millions of new visitors downtown for 81 nights each year and for hundreds of events through the year supports our hospitality workers and our industry, our small businesses in downtown, the Crossroads, the East Side, and Midtown, and continues on the transformation of Kansas City's downtown that I've been blessed to see from my youth through my service of today. I also want to give a slight acknowledgement because I was an intern for a week in the office of Mayor Kay Barnes when downtown was just this big construction site, and we were all wondering in some ways, I know the mayor knew, but there were so many who were saying, will it work? Indeed it has. Bishop, it feels providential in some ways that all of the different strands they're able to connect today. And thank you, Mayor Barnes and Mayor James, for understanding what connection in this city means, understanding what development in this city means. And thank you to all of you for ensuring that we'll be able to welcome millions of visitors each year, millions of more visitors, because Crown Center already gets quite a few, to the core of our city in downtown Kansas City. So our shared investment announced today is the best in many ways in public-private partnership. I'm grateful on behalf of our city and our region that John Sherman and our team ownership, and thank you all of you for being here today, are staying home. As the governor noted, if they had left, their revenues and their tax receipts would have left with them. Hundreds of millions of dollars leaving the city of Kansas City, the state of Missouri, stimulating activity and new jobs somewhere else. With our redirection model, their revenues stay in our community with a project for baseball and ancillary development that is funded by baseball and ancillary development, with no new taxes and with adherence to conservative and prudent fiscal management, checked and rechecked by City Manager Mario Vasquez and his team of watchdogs. And thank you to all of you. In a generation past, Kansas City had to swing for the fences. Today, we're able to do that with a tested model based on revenues generated today at Kauffman Stadium and downtown that ensure our community and our taxpayers will succeed just as the team does on the field. And has been noted already, there are many issues that come our way, but we recognize that we have answers for all of them. Parking, with thousands of spots available at Crown Center itself, and George Costello would want me to mention 3,000, I believe, at Union Station, and tens of thousands in the downtown area. There may be competition on that parking side. Public transportation, with a streetcar system ready to surge capacity on game days and special events, and a bus service where every route leads downtown. A park system, and thank you, President Hayden, for being here, that will ensure that Washington Square Park, Penn Valley Park, the National World War I Museum and Memorial benefit from new neighbors and the new love that millions more visitors will provide. And workforce goals that ensure that those who build our stadium and work at our stadium reflect the gorgeous mosaic that our city provides. There will be more, no doubt, to wrestle with, and we look forward to the community engagement over the months ahead as we do it. But as I considered my remarks today, while my wife, Catherine, and I were getting our 5-year-old and 2-year-old ready, which, as you know, is just kind of like wrestling with them and trying to figure it out, I thought a lot about the visionaries of then. People of the mid-20th century who gave us lifetime memories at Crown Center, at concerts, festivals, shows, or under, of course, the mayor's Christmas tree. People of the time that made it possible that we would crown champions in baseball in 1985 and 2015, and again soon, no doubt, with celebrations and community joy that few who have lived here will ever forget. Visionaries of a more recent yesteryear who helped Union Station, Liberty Memorial, and our entire downtown be reborn to the cosmopolitan job center that it is today. And my friends, I'm excited because we are the visionaries of today. While change to what we've known and what we've loved is a price, the future and the jobs generated, and the new businesses formed, the new tax revenues received, the memories created for our young people today and tomorrow will last well beyond our times in these positions and will continue to inspire that next teenager who, like J.C. Hall, had little in resources when he stepped off a train in Kansas City, but much in ambition and determination. The visionaries of today will inspire that Kansas City Public Schools grad, like Westport High grad Ewing Kaufman of a century ago, who would create immense success in business, but spend much of his time and treasure investing in a community that he loved. The visionaries of today, like Don Hall and John Sherman, Governor Kehoe, the leaders I'm proud to share the stage with and with whom I'm proud to serve in office with, are building progress for a city that will look different, welcome more, create greater opportunities, but will never change from its pioneering spirit. And the visionaries today are you, the people of Kansas City. You have shown in this neighborhood that we never abandon our history. You have shown that we believe in a community that comes together. You have shown that investment for a brighter future for our neighbors from every walk of life is always worth our time, a circuitous path, and our energy. I thank you, the people of Kansas City. Today, we announce a change for Kansas City for the future. We are changing Kansas City for the better. As I said recently, and I will say a lot over the weeks, months, and years ahead until we open the new park. Let's go downtown, let's go Kansas City, and let's go Royals. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the monitors for a short film sharing the Royals' past as we look ahead to the future.
Welcome back to baseball, Kansas City.
The story of the Royals is the story of Kansas City, a team created to give back to its people.
Basically, the reason that I got in the baseball business is that I thought the people of Kansas City and this great metropolitan area should have a Major League Baseball team.
It's a story that began in the heart of the city at 22nd and Brooklyn, a name inspired by the American Royal, with a logo created by the legendary artists at Hallmark, and a mission to show the world why we're called the Heartland, playing with the same hustle, grit, and determination of our people. Today, that mission continues, bringing together the best of Kansas City with homegrown leadership to forge a new home back in the heart of the city, the heart of the country, the heart of our people. Continuing a legendary Kansas City tale. By Kansas City, for Kansas City, forever Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, as we know, and I've always said that passion and purpose makes the impossible possible. And what you have before you, and many of you are part of a very passionate group that wanted to make sure that baseball remained in Kansas City. And I can say with no level of uncertainty, representing the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, where we're building a brand new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum that is literally going to be a stone's throw from where this new ballpark, we couldn't be more excited about the fact that baseball will be returning to the urban core. And so it is indeed forever Kansas City. And John, I appreciate the legacy of great owners that you follow. It began with J.L. Wilkinson, who brought the first crown to Kansas City with his Kansas City Monarchs in 1924 and 1942. And then, of course, David Glass would bring a World Series here we'll get a World Series in 1985 and then another one in 2015. And JJ, no pressure, man. We know we're going to get another World Series, but we're going to make some amazing memories. We're super excited. Thanks to all of you for coming, for believing, and being a part of what is truly a historic occasion. We're making history, and it's pretty cool to be part of making history. Thank you all so much for being here. Please, we're going to have refreshments up in the upper level there. You're more than welcome to join us. We want this group to hang out here where we're going to get a photograph of the group before we head out. But again, congratulations to each and every one of you. the Honorable John Sherman, the Honorable Mike Kehoe, the Honorable Quentin Lucas, and the Honorable Don Hall. Thank you all so much.